Hello, welcome to another video where I'm going to showcase some battles in the Ultra Weather Cup. These battles are not from myself. I'm not too invested in Ultra League myself. Unfortunately, I've mostly been doing Great League and Master League stuff. These are from my friend JEngels21. He also streams on Twitch. He plays a lot of Pokemon tournaments, so you may have seen him around. He is really good at the game, also frequently on the leaderboards. And the Pokemon we're going to take a look at here that he uses is Lanturn. Now, Lanturn doesn't even get to 2500 CP. You kind of need a hundo. It gets to like 2350, but it has really good coverage. Just like in Great League, it's a water type that beats other water. So if not aligned to a grass or dragon, it's really good. And there are only so few dragons that resist both water and electric in this cup. Just to give a little bit of an idea of how bulky this Pokemon is, as you can see here, the overall stat distribution of Lanturn is really high for its CP, and that's basically because it has a really high stamina, which makes this matchup against something like a Reggie even better, simply because you can take more lock-on damage, and that's just great. Obviously, a Bomb Snow on the right side is not a matchup you win, but it's just for an idea of how bulky or how good it exactly is. Now, another Pokemon we can compare it to in this cup that's more common is Jellicent. Jellicent, as you can see, has like 300 more stat distribution here, simply because it has a higher attack. I wouldn't say it's much more bulky, but it does have much higher defense than Lanturn does. Now, before we get into these battles, one more thing about Jengels, I will put his Twitch link in the description as well. It would be great if you can give him a follow. And on top of that, tomorrow there will be a charity stream that not only Jengels will be on, I myself will be on here as well. It will be also on the on a link that I will put in the description from my friend Pranav. You may have seen it in one of my videos before. Now let's get into these battles. The team that we have here on the right side from Jengels is Lanturn, Shadow, Abomasnow, Shadow, Alolan, and Senseless, which is a freaking expensive team. I do not have, actually I do have a Shadow, Abomasnow, but I do not have the other two. Let's take a look at how he's going to make this work. We have here the Lanturn into Shadow Blaziken. Shadow Blaziken actually one of the less expensive Pokemon to build in this meta, just because it gets to high CP, which means you don't have to invest as much Stardust into it, because it doesn't get to excel like the other three do. On the other hand, though, it is really fragile. A serve from this range, I reckon, would take it out. But you can also see how strong it is with those counters, which do so much damage. And the opponent actually is able to catch a move on the Keldeo, which is a pretty spicy pick. I really like this. And Jengels is kind of in trouble here, because his backline does not want to see any Sacred Sword users. Sacred Sword comes in, doesn't KO yet. It's a strong move though. And looks like then Jengels decides to switch out, keep that Thunderbolt. I'm not too sure about that play, because he's in a difficult spot regardless. Sacred Sword comes in with this poison jab. And the Abomasnow gets even farmed down here. I promise not all the battles will go like this. He still has a Thunderbolt stored too that he can throw here, but instead decides to go in Sand Slash, which double resists the poison jab. That's nice, I guess, but the Sacred Sword will do so much damage here. Take a look. Be able to claw it down. It is able to claw it down, so it's Shadow Claw, not Power Snow, which makes you a little bit better against like other waters or ice. What the hell is that? It's Incineroar. Okay, it's fire lead, fire in the back. I guess double ice. Yeah, that's tough. This flame charge will knock out an entire generation of of Sand Slash, but he's at 2 serves right now, and I think there's only that Blaziken left in the back. I think if the Blaziken does have a move, he still wins this battle. So what looked really bad here actually wins him this battle, even though Lanturn really had to carry it. Looks like that serve will take out the Blaziken. Yeah, it's so fragile. I did not see. I did not think for even a second he would win. All right, next opponent, Valiant Fish, one of, in my opinion, the best players in the world. He is from Australia, and regularly, like, I think he gets to top 3 on like every single play Pokemon tournament as well. This is one of my favorite Pokemon for Ultra League in restricted matters. I actually have a really good one for Ultra League 2, Regice, because its recent addition to access to Thunder makes this so flexible. It has Thunder, Earthquake, Focus Blast, and Blizzard as charge moves. This Pokemon is really good. If you've played Factions, you know how flexible this Pokemon is in Jusker Cup. But yeah, looks like it has Focus Blast in this case. Maybe not Earthquake. Let's see. Another Focus Blast comes through. The other move might be Thunder for water types, or or Blizzard for neutral coverage. I'm not sure if you really need Blizzard in this meta. Thunderbolt comes through, and actually Lanturn takes his matchup. Now, this is one of the few dragons in this meta. I think the other one is, well, you don't see a lot of Palkia, but you do see some Kyurem. I think Kyurem is an interesting pick, but I don't think it's too good because Ice as a defensive typing only really adds an Ice resistance, which then is neutral because Dragon is weak to it. But Jangle's not weak to this. Kingdra either, really, because Kingdra takes a while before it gets to his charge move. They do throw the big outrage. I guess you really don't want to shield Noctizuka in that position, which wouldn't even KO. And in the back is a Shadow Swampert, which is somewhat of a core breaker to Jangles' team, because both Sandslash and Spark Lanturn aren't exactly great against it. Earthquake will definitely take it out there. I think Hydro Cannon will put you into the red. He does shield the Hydro Cannon, unfortunately. And I think at this point, you kind of have to catch a move from this Swampert, which is difficult because Jangles is in a really high elo, and Valiant Fish is one of those players you cannot catch a move against. You can't. He's really good. I think it's an Hydro. It won't take it out, so this has to be an Earthquake. It is the Earthquake. But now this Sandslash is... Oh, it actually... Oh, it is able to claw down. Valiant Fish barely not able to get to an Earthquake there. Wow, okay. I think an Hydro may already have done it here. Because alone on Sandslash, the Shadow form is not really that bulky. But then again, I don't know these matchups too well either. I only know Great League Shadow... Alone Sandslash. And this is not the same battles as before. This is actually another Shadow Blaziken. Yeah, you can see again here how much those counters do. And the opponent managed to catch on a Cradily. Cradily is also... I don't really like the rock defensive typing, but the rock offensive typing is really good on it. Some of these pack Bulldoze, some of them pack Stone Edge. I think Stone Edge is the way, just because it's a little bit cheaper and you hit ice types better, right? Such as a Bombasnow. But Cradily doesn't really hard win a lot, unfortunately. Because of that rock typing, it's also not super great against water types not named Swampert. But I think even Swampert takes shot with 2 Hydro Cannons. Yeah, Cradily also needs to be a hundo for Ultra League. And look at that counting from Jangles. And knowing he wins the charge attack priority here. Right, the CMP here. Yeah, another Ice Punch coming through. There's actually some good knowledge to have, knowing that Cradily is really bulky. And here you see how bulky this thing is. It's not, because an Ice Punch just did like 40% here, which is crazy. This will take out an entire generation of chickens. And now a Bombasnow Mirror with an energy disadvantage. I think this is really tough for Jangles at this point. If you use a shield, the Blaziken might sweep you. If you don't use a shield, the Abomasnow might sweep you. Let's take a look at how if he is able to pull his way through here. Luckily in Ultra League, everything has a little bit more HP, so you're able to tank 2 Weather Balls here, which definitely helps you getting this Abomasnow low. It looks like the opponent is not shielding anything at all, and smart play by Jangles, not shielding either, because what he needs is the shield for the Lanturn now. Can the opponent farm down? They cannot farm down. They have to throw here, and now this is actually a pretty good spot for Jangles to be in, because the Blaziken needs to get to like a Brave Bird and another move. It looks like Jangle calls this Blaze Kick. Still does a respectable amount of damage. And now he needs to get the 2 serves, no? Because there's still a shield on the Abomasnow. Yeah, he's gonna get there, right? Wait, no, he doesn't get there. He dies. No, he's going down. Okay, never mind. Shadow Blaziken really strong. Really strong. Okay, maybe I need to build me one of those. This is where Shadow Blaziken would be really good. I don't know the matchup of Lanturn in this case. In Great League, it's pretty good because you simply outbulk. Opponent tries to catch a move on the Swampert, but unsuccessfully. Doesn't even build up to the Sludge Wave here, so Jangles knows he doesn't need to shield. But maybe this is what the opponent is trying to farm down. Might be something like a Politoad in the back, as far as I know, but let's see. The Hydras will take out Abomasnow, though, even though resisted, they still chunk because both Pokemon are quite fragile. Undercharging this Energy Ball a lot, and it actually gets shielded. In Great League, you win the straight Weather Ball as a Abomasnow. I'm not sure if you do as well in the Ultra League. Another Weather Ball comes through, it gets shielded again. There has to be some, like a Grass type in the back from the opponent, I reckon. Let's see. Jangles has a lot of energy on the Lanturn still, which is also best buddy, by the way. I don't know. In Great League, this takes out. In Ultra League, yeah, barely not. But you are able to spark down here. Is this a Hydro Cannon or Earthquake? I don't know. Jangles does know, and it's only a Hydro. Yeah, that doesn't do as much. Lanturn is really bulky in this league. In comes the Sandslash again. Really wondering what the opponent tried to do right now, because they flip switch, but just bring in the Alone Sandslash again. And unfortunately, Jango shields the bait there. Bulldoze will do respectable damage. I would reckon it would do like 50%. It's not the strongest move, but it's super effective, I guess. Thunderbolt still won't take it out. And if this is an Ice Punch, it won't either. It is an Ice Punch. Oh, and manages to claw down before the opponent gets to that move there. And in the back is the Jellicent. The opponent was quite weak to Lanturn. But honestly, now they also need to bait out that Bomb Snow. So this was a tricky spot for the opponent to be in regardless. Because this Sand Slash has Shadow Claw, which makes this matchup pretty bad for the Jellicent. The opponent baits with the Surf. Doesn't really help. I think you need 2 Surfs regardless. So maybe that's the play, the way to play this out regardless. And now Bulldoze will take out this Jellicent. I think Sand Slash, also in Great League, can be a really good core breaker with the coverage of Ghost, Ice, and Ground. Even though Ground is so-so. Next battle, Shadow Poliwrath, which has super effective mud shots, but they don't really add up. Let's see. I think a Dynamic Punch would do a lot here. You don't have to fear super effective damage, but yeah, that's really hard hitting neutral damage. And in comes our Reggie Ice again. But the problem here is Jengels doesn't have a good answer here. Simply because this thing has such good coverage and he's double weak to fighting in the back. So if this Pokemon packs Focus Blast, not really swap out. It is Thunder. That definitely would not have killed. Thunder is a decent move, but it's only neutral. And since both Pokemon are quite bulky, it doesn't do too much damage. Thunderbolt comes in. And then Jengels decides to go in the Bomb Snow, hoping this Lanturn would have something like Thunder Earthquake. Let's see. It is Focus Blast, though. I think Focus Blast is just the move you kind of want here. Regice, that makes Regice look like a really good other opposing Ice-type counter. Baits with the battle, with the Weather Ball, then going the Energy Ball. I like this play a lot. Looks like the opponent does want to flip this. Actually, they don't. They just use 1 shield. But now the Bomb Snow is dry, though, so Poliwrath can cleanly take this out. Yeah, you're going to have to need a good matchup in the back, I reckon. The Alolan Sandslash, because this is a tough position to be in. In the back is their own Alolan Sandslash, and this is looking very, very tough. It's Poliwrath double Ice instead of Jengels, his Lanturn double Ice. Bulldoze comes in. As you can see, that does quite some damage on the opposing Sandslash from Jengels. Both Pokemon Shadow Form, obviously, are quite fragile. Yeah, doesn't even get to second move, and Jengels knows that this is over. Is really kind to his opponent and saves them some time. Sometimes you gotta value that as well. Next matchup, we have another Regice. Shiny, by the way, as you can clearly see. Let's see what this Regice packs. This Pokemon always... Like, I'm always curious what people are running on this. Maybe they wouldn't really run Earthquake. I guess maybe Tentacruel and Lanturn are too common anyway. And looks like Jengels swaps in his Sandslash into this Kingdra. This is actually one of the better answers. Obviously, Primarina or even Azumarill would do better here. But you resist the Dragon Breath with your Steel typing. So I guess there's that, which is nice. The Okazuka still kind of hurts. And if you get debuffed here, this is not that great of a matchup. Because now you need 2 Ice Punches here. It's about 9 seconds / 18 turns to get to 2 Ice Punches. And I believe it's about 8 seconds to get to an Octazooka. So that's not ideal for Jengels, but decides to let it go. Instead, can now farm up a lot of energy, so it's still fine. He's not really... This team is not really weak to Kingdra. Maybe Kyurem could be a little of problem. Oh, actually, goes to 100 NG with Lanturn, then swapping out. This is not really where you want that Bomb Snow. This is far from good at all. First Energy Ball coming in. This is the hardest hitting move. Opponent might shield that. They don't, however. And that brings Regice to the half here. Yeah, you're obviously going to preserve this. I think this one-shots, I'm not too sure actually, or it will get you really close to fainting. Weather Ball bait coming in. Really bold strategy from Jengels, and they just happen to all work. These are not battles he picked, by the way. He told me I can just take battles from his stream to feature. And these are just the battles that happened at that time. And in the back is a Jellicent. Now that Lanturn is looking really good, it still has 100 energy. Energy Ball comes in, does a tremendous amount of damage. But what are you going to do here? Putting the shield first. Lanturn, I think, loses the CMP to like everything here. Oh, and the opponent throws the Shadow Ball here. This is going to hurt. Doesn't kill though. Now you can go on Lanturn, however. throw the Thunderbolt. Don't need to time remove you that well because, you know, you're the 100 energy anyway. You have a serve ready as well, which he throws right away as well, and that wins him this battle. Very well played by Jengels there. Yeah, I like that play. Let's take a look at the next battle here. Lanturn into Kingdra. Kingdra is not really where he wants it, and it shows because he swaps out immediately. You need to build up to pretty expensive Thunderbolts with the Lanturn against Kingdra, so it's really not ideal. At least he has Spark over over Water Gun, because Water Gun's really bad against Kingdra. I believe this can be an outrage. Looks like Jengels does respect it. It is the outrage. It's about 10 seconds to an outrage. You have 1 turn of swap in, right? You have 1 turn of throwing your move. So 2 weather balls, 9 seconds, plus half a second of your swap, plus half a second of throwing your move. Adds up to 10. I hecking love calculation. Just explaining how I see that or read that. But yeah, looks like opponent just double shields the Kingdra, goes to switch anyway. Maybe they have something like their own Abomasnow. They must have an Alolan Sandslash answer, I would reckon. If they have a Jellicent, it has nowhere to go at this point, though. That's what I do like about Jengels' team. Jellicent is just terrible against this team. Trying to catch a Shadow Ball here. Actually, I don't think he caught it, but the opponent decided to throw it regardless. Take a look what's in the back here. It is Kyurem! Ooh, this is actually one of... This might be the hardest... well, maybe a Bombstone does even better, especially Razor Leaf a Bombstone, but this might be one of the hardest answers to Lanturn. Kyurem, as you can see, the Thunderbolt still adds up still has respectable damage, but he resists everything of it. Because Kyurem is quite fragile in Ultra League. It has Dragon Claw and Glaciate mostly. Glaciate is like a stronger Icy Wind. It always debuffs your attack, and it does respectable damage too. I've tried Kyurem as well last round of this cup, and I liked it, but it's not as good as it looks like. If you get it on Lanturn, perfect. Otherwise, not perfect. Next battle is against Lindos Ario, one of the best Brazilian players, also streaming on Twitch, and has his own Lanturn. But this time we see another hard answer for a Lanturn. It's the Abomasnow. So I think in Great League you actually one-shot this with an Energy Ball and the Power Snows. But I'm not sure about Ultra League because Lanturn has more bulk here. On the other hand, Abomasnow has more attack here as well. So let's take a look. Energy Ball coming in. Does massive damage, doesn't one-shot though. I think this Lanturn gets to another Thunderbolt if it needs to. And actually puts a Bombstone to the red here, which isn't the worst. But a Bombstone does come out with so much energy, which is not great. See what comes in, it's a Tentacruel. Tentacruel is pretty good against a Abomasnow because of that super effective poison offense. And it's actually really bulky as well. It takes that energy ball like a champ, but it also really has nowhere to go because it's not great against the Sandslash either. Sandslash double resists the poison, and in the back is a shiny Credilli. It's not a Shundo. It does look kind of pretty, but this is not a great matchup for it simply because even if it had super effective Bulldoze, it wouldn't one-shot or anything. As you can see, the Bullet Seeds do nothing. And Sandslash doesn't even need Power Snow to do well in this matchup because the claws add up. The Ice Punch, super effective, adds up, and it comes out really fast too, whereas Credilli has a little bit of a slower moveset. Again, I think Credilli is a cool Pokemon. It has really good offensive coverage, but defensive, it just doesn't do it. The defensive coverage, Rock is just not a great typing. And look at that play from Ario. I really like that. He just waited for the claw to come in because he knows he cannot switch if he throws a Bullet Seed and then try to catch a move. So he waits a little bit for the Spark to come in, then tries to catch unsuccessfully, unfortunately, because Jengels was very patient there. Very well played by Jengels. And just a really tough lineup for Ario there as well. Not really much you can do. Another great lead for Lanturn against the Jellicent here. An opponent swaps in a Regirock. Another Pokemon with interesting coverage. You know, Registeel is not just the only Reggie out there. There's other cool Reggie. Let's not talk about Drake and Elikina. Not great. Anyway, this Pokemon packs Stone Edge, Earthquake, Focus Blast, or Zap Cannon. And I think all 4 are decent in this meta. Let's see what they pack. We haven't seen Regice with Earthquake yet. For Regirock is Legacy. But let's see if they have it. They do have it this time. Doesn't do that much damage. This just shows how bulky Lanturn is. And at this point, the Stonish will definitely take it out. Stonish comes out really quick from Regirock, only about 11 seconds, which is like only a little bit slower than like the first Hydro Cannon from a Swampert. It comes out pretty fast. But Jangles doesn't really mind, because again, Jellicent is no problem. Let's see if there's a problem in the back. It's double Reggie! It's double Reggie! Yo, this is a cool line. I respect this line. This is a cool line. Jellicent double Reggie. Alright, first energy ball coming through. It gets shielded right away, which is terrible for Jangles. And if this has Focus Blast again, it can potentially one-shot both of the Pokemon of Jangles here, because Sandslash is double weak to fighting, so it definitely gets one-shot by a Focus Blast. Energy ball comes in here. Does a good amount of damage. I guess the defense drop, I'm not sure what it does. And catches a Focus Blast. Okay, that's his third shield, I guess. Look at that patience from Jangles yet again. So what do you need to do here? This is like energy versus health management. Focus Blast does way more, so you can like afford to take a Shadow Ball here. It looks like Jangles knows. Jangles knows he can't take a Shadow Ball here. It does more than a Focus Blast, so this is his momentum to gain more energy. But look at his HP. The clock is really ticking. So another Energy Ball comes in. I don't think Weather Ball indeed would have done it here. And now he needs another Energy Ball to KO this Regice. Regice has no fast move pressure there and actually gets to Energy Ball. Really, really well played from Jangles there. I love this game. And the team. I love the team. Double Reggie. Lanturn into, again, Jellicent. Jellicent is like one of the most common XL Pokemon around at the moment. It looks like the opponent might be very weak to this because they're staying into this terrible matchup. Honestly, though, it's not even the worst. Because you'll see how much his Shadow Ball does. And Lanturn is basically pressured to throw right away. Obviously, Lanturn comes out with like half HP still. So in comes Kingdra, however. Looks like Jangles farms it to another Thunderbolt before switching. I like that. But this means now that the Kingdra gets to an Octazooka before Sandslash gets to an Ice Punch. And that's bad. Because again, if you get debuffed here. And he is 2 for 2 right now in getting debuffed. As fellow Kingdra hater, I really know how that feels. Ice Punch does nothing anymore now. And Kingdra just wins this easily. Kingdra is just an Ultra League menace. And I think that the Alola Ninetales, the introduction of Alola Ninetales really has been a blessing to keep that Pokemon in check. If you remember Ultra League Premier with like Snorlax Double Dragon, it was the worst to face, really. Unless you're running Double Charm, but I wasn't, usually. Anyway, a Bombstone Mirror. Jangles has slight energy advantage here, so that's just very fine for him. There's still Jellicent in the back, I believe, but he has a Thunderbolt loaded, so it's not the worst here. The opponent now starts to shield as well. Because Jangles just needs to get rid of this Abomasnow here, basically. Although, because that's the only thing that threatens the Lanturn at this point. And very clever waiting from Jangles there to see if the Power Snow comes through. Basically, the only win con from the opponent there is to catch a move. Opponent tries to catch a move now on the Kingdra. Unsuccessfully. This double resisted still takes it out. Take a look. Abomasnow comes back in. I'm not sure about this play, though. I think a Thunderbolt may have done it here. Yeah, I think a Thunderbolt would have done it. But I guess maybe wants to close up with the Abomasnow, which still has a little bit of energy. He still has a shield. Still not using it. Oh, man. And the Simul KO. And at this point, you can just outpace the engine. When the opponent knows, they give up. So very well played from Jangles there. Really like these battles. Shows how good Lanturn is, even when it's not getting to 2500 CP. Yeah, definitely give this guy a follow on Twitch. He would really appreciate that. He's a really good player, a good person, good content creator. Hope you liked the video. Thank you, Jangles, for letting me use them, and